Mark chapter 16, verses 1 to 8, the resurrection. After the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James, and Salome bought spices to go and anoint the body of Jesus. Very early on Sunday morning at sunrise, they went to the tomb. On the way, they said to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance to the tomb?" It was a very large stone. Then they looked up and saw that the stone had already been rolled back. So they entered the tomb, where they saw a young man sitting on the right, wearing a white robe, and they were alarmed. "Don't be alarmed," he said. "I know you are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is not here. He has been raised. Look, here is the place where they put him. Now, go and give this message to his disciples, including Peter. He is going to Galilee ahead of you. There you will see him, just as he told you." So they went out and ran from the tomb, distressed and terrified. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid.
So have you noticed this? Yeah, some of us made this between us yesterday. I'm not very crafty, but even I did a little bit of this. I'll show you my bit and then I'll talk about the important bits. What do you think that is? What is it then, Harriet? Yeah, that's Darby, right. She was in the garden. That's my dog. Right, what else is in here that actually was there on the proper day? Yes, go on then, Harriet. Angels, right, okay. Yeah, are they the angels? You'll have to come and show me. Come and show me the angel.
Angel with wings.
Oh, I see. Oh, yes, it's got the wings. Okay, right, very good. What else have we got here? Show me what else there is.
Some flowers.
Flowers.
There's a crown of thorns.
Yeah, right, we've got crown of thorns,
Crosses.
3 crosses.
Oh, we got Mary and Mary Magdalene.
Right, so we've got 2 Marys, we've got some people at the back here,
And the bit.
and the sunrise. Okay,
And the clothes. Like Palm Sunday.
yeah. Very good, thank you. So there's quite a lot going on here, so maybe you can have a look at it on your way out or something at the end of the service. Thank you very much. Just want to think a little bit about this story, just for a couple of minutes. And I just want to take 3 items from the story that we just heard. The stone, the women, and the fear. I don't know whether they're items, but you know what I mean. So first of all, the stone. Now then, the stone was rolled away from the entrance to the tomb. How big do we think this stone was then? How big? Go on then, how big do you think it is? Can we measure it with our hands maybe? How big do you think it is? As big as? Is it? Big as the doorway, yeah, or maybe a bit bigger than me, maybe like that and all the way around like that, do you think? A great big, as big as me, right, okay, and all the way around like that. Okay. Now then, it seems to me that on the day Jesus died, it would have been quite easy to roll that stone in to the space. But it'd be really hard to get it back out again, wouldn't it? You imagine something great big like this, really, really heavy in rock. It would be really hard to get it back out again. And this made me think in this story that sometimes there are huge barriers in the way of our understanding or believing something. There are things that stop us doing the things that we want to do or know we ought to do. But there are people who can help us to move those barriers out of the way so that we can see what we need to see. And today, what we need to see is the risen Jesus. So in your mind, just roll that stone away. Roll away any doubts that you have and imagine that the stone is to the side of the tomb. So that's the stone. And then the second thing is the women. Now then, the women were the first people to witness to the resurrection of Christ. And this is important. Now, these days, you're used to seeing women at the front of church, and you've got teachers who are women and women politicians and all kinds of women in power. But in those days, women were not thought of very highly at all. People wouldn't believe them. And if you had to go to court, women couldn't be witnesses because their testimony was not believed. They were not reliable witnesses. So the message of that part of the story, I think, is that we need to be prepared to hear the gospel from people we don't expect. Right, the truth of God can come from anybody. It might come from somebody that you thought you couldn't rely on. It might be somebody very young, somebody very old, or somebody for whatever reason you thought was an unreliable witness, and yet they bring you the truth of the gospel. And then just the third thing, finally, is the fear. So they came to the tomb and they found that the stone had been rolled away. How would you feel if that was you? I think I would feel scared. It's a bit weird, isn't it, to say the least? Yeah, I think I would have felt scared. And they went away and they said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. And it took them a while to get their story together so that they could tell it to people. Now, we might not always feel very confident in saying what we believe in. And each of us has only got a tiny bit of the gospel story, and we don't understand all of it. There's nobody here who can understand this whole story today. We've each just got the little bits of insight that we've got. But if we each dare to tell that little bit of insight that we have, then it can make a huge difference, and it might just change somebody's world.